Go to meetings of these associations. Don't sell when you're at the meetings. I can't stress that enough. Meeting planners go to these meetings for educational opportunities. They don't want to be sold to. They're glad to meet you, but you want to meet them and follow up with them later. Get involved on a committee if you join these organizations. That's where you're really going to get to know people, really get to know them. And the thing is, we all call people that we already know first when we think of things, right? That's the first thing we do. Write articles for their publications. Most of these places, especially local chapters, are dying for articles for their newsletters. Great publicity for you.
Who do you contact? Is it usually
if you go on the websites, they will list who all their officers are, newsletter, education chairs, so you can find out who to contact for presenting, for writing an article, and for attending the meetings. All of that is on all the websites. And yes, speak. Offer to speak. And there is a page, the next page, that shows you the MPI New Jersey chapter. They are soliciting speakers for next year right now. Again, MPI does not traditionally pay their speakers, but it is incredible exposure if the people are your target audience, and it may not be. So yes, planners really talk. The question is, what are they saying about you? And are they cheering? Are they your cheerleader? Thank you. I hope that was informative, and please, if you have any questions, catch up with me anytime during the day and I'll explain anything more on the handout. Thanks so much.
Guy who can help you get in there. Lee Miller, Harvard Law School graduate. How are you doing, Lee Miller?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to have you here.
Everybody wants to make more money, and our next guest claims he can show you how. Author Lee Miller, good morning.
Lee Miller has spent his career negotiating salaries on both sides of the table. He worked as a senior human resources manager at such major New York retailers as Macy's and Barney's, and he's put it all into this book, his years of experience. He joins us today from New York City. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us.
On Bloomberg, personal negotiating specialist Lee Miller.
I'm Susanna Palmer, and my guest is Lee Miller. He's a human resources consultant, and he's authored a book.
Here to answer these questions and offer tips is Lee E. Miller.
What I'm going to talk about tonight is the basics of negotiating. And you probably are wondering, what is a guy doing up here writing a book about women in negotiating? Well, simple answer is I have two daughters. What I tried to do with my daughter was to figure out, how do we write a book that's going to focus on the strengths of women? I think the skills that women bring to negotiation are so much harder to learn than the skills that men bring to negotiation. I mean, we bring the game-playing stuff to negotiating. Well, that I can teach you in a couple hours. I can teach you most of the game-playing stuff. The skills that women bring, listening, relationship building, those are hugely difficult to teach. So I came up with 3 stages to learn to negotiate. Illumination, that's where you look at it and you understand what it is you're supposed to do. Okay, sometimes that's all you need, if you understand that you do it. Then progression. Basically, that's practicing the skills you just got, so you get better at them. To finally, the 3rd stage, the ultimate stage, the Zen stage, so to speak, transformation, where negotiation becomes a natural part of who you are. The way you get to feel comfortable is to learn everything you can about the process. You know, when I train in negotiations, I always do, and when I teach it, I always do simulations, because the only way you can really learn to negotiate is to actually negotiate. So we're going to hand out fact sheets to you guys, and each one of you will play either a buyer or a seller, so you're going to pair up and negotiate the purchase of this particular car. Stand up, go back in pairs and get the sheets, and then kind of spread out. No one is born to be a great negotiator. You know, some people are born with certain skills that make them potentially better negotiators, but we all learn it. Have you ever negotiated with a persistent 3-year-old? You know how hard that is? Because they're persistent. Eventually, they wear you out. Confidence is critical to be a successful negotiator. I I can't teach you confidence, but I can give you a little trick that men learn very early in life. And that is, when you're not confident, just act confident. Okay? You know, you women, you will understand that. All you women who are single and have been dating will understand that, because you will think of the guy who is a big jerk and spends the whole evening talking about himself. Okay? That guy is not confident. He's actually very scared. But he does what we all do. What all men do is, the more scared you are, the more confident you act, or you try to act. Okay? And that's what's going on there. That's why men don't ask for directions. It's not about showing them that you're smarter than they are. It's not about showing them that you're better prepared than they are. It's about getting what you want. What's the first thing you need to do to convince somebody? It's listen. It's an interesting phenomenon. You convince first by listening. Because by listening, you're going to get lots of information as to what will persuade them. People will tell you what's important to them, what will have an impact on them. That's how you convince somebody. You start by listening to them, getting them to talk.
If you're a good negotiator, you're going to be at the top of that range.
Anybody here ever buy a car? Dealing with city people, so only one person has ever bought a car. All right, when you buy a car, where does the dealer want to anchor you? No, where? On what? Anchors have to be real. You don't just throw out numbers. You know, you've got your brand new Ford Navigator. You don't say, I want $1 million for it. It has to be on something. So what does the dealer try to anchor you at? What do they point to? Sticker price, okay? They anchor you at sticker. Look at the sticker, and we're going to go down from the sticker. We're going to give you less than the sticker. You feel like you have a good deal, right? Because they've anchored you on the sticker price. Where do you want to anchor?
Book value.
Not book value, cost. All right, who in this group got more than 175 for the car? More than 175. She got more than 175. You have to be yourself. But that doesn't mean you can't be effective. So you need to learn what your style is, how to use it, how to use it effectively. And that's what I mean by be the best self you can be. Part of being a good negotiator is being able to say no. If it's not what you want, if it's not right, you have to say no. You deserve to get what you're entitled to and to get a fair deal. And I guarantee you what you ask for will be fair and actually less than you really deserve. So don't be afraid to ask for it. If that doesn't work, have your friend with you when you negotiate. They'll help you, buck you up when you ask for too little.
The way you get to feel comfortable is to learn everything you can about the process. The first commandment, and I think the most important commandment, is to be prepared. First thing you should do is you should try to connect with the person you're negotiating. Connect on a personal level. When you go to that person's office, you're going to see pictures of their children, you're going to see golf trophies, say. If you have things in common, talk about them and connect with that person on a personal level. That way, it's going to be a lot harder for them to say no to you. The reason why you want to ask for more is you might actually get what you ask for. Give them a reason as to why you want whatever it is you want. Every negotiation is going to have disagreements. If there weren't disagreements, there wouldn't be negotiations, and I wouldn't be here giving you advice.
Lee Miller is the Managing Director of the Advanced Human Resources Group and an adjunct professor at the Seton Hall Business School. He teaches managerial negotiating in the MBA program. A former employment lawyer and Harvard Law School graduate, he was the head of human resources for TV Guide magazine, USA Networks, and Barney's New York. He is the immediate past chairman of the International Association of Corporate and Professional Recruiters.